Disclaimer. This video is for commentary and entertainment purposes only. Any clips or videos used in this project will be credited in the description box below. No copyright infringement intended. Please support the official release of every video. Thank you. Video begins. I want you guys to know that this gameplay is not mine. I do own a copy of Luigi's Mansion GameCube as well as a Wii, but I don't have a way to, record my gameplay and save it to show you guys. So I just took some video off of YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll clip the owner of the YouTube channel and the video in the description box below.
Nintendo.
Hello?
Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry, here at the Everything Anime Podcast, covering from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and every relevant topic I talk about. Today's video is on the game review of Luigi's Mansion GameCube. Now, when I talk about video games, I talk about my relationship with the game, and then get into more details about the game, and then give a basic overview and things like that. Now, my relationship with this game starts way back on my 10th birthday in 2002. But a little bit of backstory. I have always been a Mario Brothers fan. I remember not my very first game, but we had got a 64. Y'all know Nintendo 64 was huge. I was the biggest Nintendo fan. People went to PlayStation, I was always 64. I was always a Nintendo fan. My first game, one thing was Super Mario World. The first time Mario went 3D, and the graphics weren't amazing or nothing like that, as you can see. But that trailer with the kids jump Mario, jump, and then
Come on Mario! Come on Mario, jump! Don't give up.
Want to grow? The calcium in milk helps bones grow.
Okie dokie.
Mario jumped on TV, grabbed some milk, got bigger, and was able to complete the mission. That commercial had stuck with me for years, and Super Mario 64 was my first game. The second game I had got on 64 was Super Smash Brothers. That game blew my fucking mind. I don't know how old I was at that point. We're gonna get to Luigi Mansion, but I don't know how old I was at that point. But it blew my mind. Went on to play from there Mario Party 1 and 2. I think 3 at the time was even on 64. 1, 2, and 3 was on 64. 2 was the best one. Mario Party 2, we had costumes, okay? Y'all don't know about Mario Party, okay? Mario Party 2 had the costumes. We was clicking cowboys, we was spacemen, we was all kinds of shit, wizards and shit. I know, I think kind of random what I'm talking about, but it's all gonna have a point. It's all gonna have a point. Anyways, and then, we had Mario Kart, which was amazing. Some other ones, F-Zero GX, a lot of 64 games, but basically I was a big Nintendo fan. And then we eventually got to Nintendo Game, what was it called, Nintendo Game Boy, but Game Boy is basically known for Nintendo games, Pokemon and things like that. So that was on Nintendo Game Boy for a long time. And then the launch of the GameCube was huge, the biggest thing I had ever seen. And yeah, I know PlayStation was out at the time. I think PlayStation at the time was competing with Nintendo 64 though. Because PlayStation 2 was out when GameCube. Yeah, so PlayStation was 64 and then PlayStation 2 was GameCube. When I tell you, when I saw the GameCube, the launch game for GameCube was Luigi's Mansion. That was a game that was everywhere in all the commercials. Luigi looking through the mansion, all that, it blew my mind. I was like, I want that game. And Luigi had always been my favorite character, because if you don't know, my favorite color as a kid has always been green. My favorite number has always been 8. I don't know what it is. Oh, Paper Mario. I forgot. How can I forget Paper Mario? We just did a review of that game like 2 years ago. Full in-depth review of that game too. And I have, let me tell y'all, this folder here is the 1,000-Year Door. All my notes for 1,000-Year Door. The only reason that we haven't done a 1,000-Year Door video is because once the 1,000-Year Door remake came out, everybody was talking about the game. So I was like, I don't feel like doing an in-depth review of that. At 64 though, definitely check that out. If you just played 1,000-Year Door and then play 64, go back and play 64. It's just as good as 1,000-Year Door. But I do have a whole notebook of 1,000-Year Door. So we're going to do a 1,000-Year Door at some point. It's coming. I just don't know when. But anyways, back to this. So yeah, the launch trailer came out, and the game released September 19, 2001, I believe, or September 9th, 2001. I did not get it when it first came out. I didn't have a GameCube when it first came out. I got my first GameCube March 8, 2002, on my 10th birthday. I remember that day. I remember that day so much because me, my brothers, Nick, Tristan, my sisters Angelique and Shan, my dad, my mom, my stepmom, we were all at the skating ring. And back then, bitch, listen, back then when you was a kid, if you went at the skating ring on Fridays and Saturdays, it was like, where you at? Like, where was you at last weekend when you got to school on Monday? It was like, where was you at Friday, Saturday? The skating ring was bumping. Okay. We was acting like it was a club. It wasn't really. It's at the skating ring, but it was where your parents would drop you off, like 7 to 11, and you could basically chill with your friends for 4 hours, skate for 4 hours, race each other for 4 hours. Like, it was like our little bit of freedom. It was like the freedom you had as a kid. And again, all of it's gonna make sense. It's all relative to the story or to this game. But then also you had all night skate, where sometimes, like, your parents would drop you off at 7 p.m. and they would pick you up till 7 a.m. And between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., no kid under 18 could leave. Like, even if you was 16, 17, you could not leave the skating ring. You was locked in there until your parents came and got you. You could not leave the skating ring. And you slept on the skating ring floor. I mean, not on the skating ring floor. You slept on the side of the skating ring. You can bring your sleeping bag. You can bring a pillow. Sleep anywhere on the floor. Stuff like that. Eat all night, snack all night, game all night, skate all night. Bitch, at midnight, they had us come on the skating ring and you could dance. The skating ring was a shit, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I had my birthday at skating ring with all my siblings, my mom, my dad, my stepmom. It was amazing. When I got my birthday gift, it was the last one. Because, parents always say the last gift for the best gift for last. They always say the best gift for last. The last gift I got had a blue, well, I think it's purple, but they call it blue. A blue Nintendo GameCube. Luigi's Mansion, that was the first game I pulled out. I was like, what? I got Luigi's Mansion? Yes! Second game was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is a game review we're going to do. I wanted to do that before Sonic 3 came out, the movie, but I only got the game like very recently in the last year or so. So I didn't get that out before Sonic 3 came out. We'll probably talk about that at some point and do some comparisons with the movie and speculations that me and Galen had at some point as well. I got a lot of videos planned for this YouTube channel. And the last game was Super Monkey Ball. Now, if you like me, when you first got Super Monkey Ball, I was like, what the fuck is Super Monkey Ball? Like, I'm like, what the fuck? All the cool games, you got me the GameCube, you got me Luigi's Mansion, and you got me Sonic Adventure Battle. What the fuck is Super Monkey Ball? Listen, Super Monkey Ball is hard as fuck. We're gonna do a video on Super Monkey Ball one day. GameCube version. That game is hard as fuck. I don't care if it looks like a child's game. That game is hard as shit. But anyways, yeah, I had got this game along with Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but this game was the one I was excited for. This was the one I was excited to put the GameCube together and start playing. And I immediately loved it. I have played Luigi's Mansion. I don't know if I mentioned it in my Paper Mario video 64, but I had played Paper Mario 64 4 times. I used all 4 game slots. Luigi's Mansion, I would beat it. Some point go back to it again and play it again. It has so much replay value. The game is only 4 hours long. Start to finish. If you speed run Luigi's Mansion without detouring, without worrying about collecting money, hell, I mean, even collecting money and facing some of the ghosts, it should relatively only take you 4 to 5 hours to beat. Luigi's Mansion is a very short game. But as a kid, and especially in the early 2000s, this was enough length of time. This was enough, especially with it being so short and, being so different for a Mario game, it really blew our minds. It wasn't like chasing Goombas. It wasn't like, fighting Bowser, and saving Princess Peach. This was a Luigi's focused game with elements of basically Ghostbustering. But these ghosts are way better than Dark Moon. They're way better than... Okay, so one other thing I'll say, because I have played Luigi Mansion 2, Dark Moon, and I have played Luigi Mansion 3. I think I still own that one. Hold on, let me double check. On Luigi Mansion 3. I do not own Dark Moon anymore. I hated Dark Moon. Dark Moon got rid of the unique ghost and portrait ghost and replaced them with these like generic ass looking ghosts. I'll make sure you guys see those. I'm going to show those off for a little bit. Luigi Mansion 2 is terrible. Luigi Mansion 3, they still have the generic ghost, but then they're not portrait ghosts, but the hotel ghost, they tried to give them personality. They tried to give them like a little bit more something to them, and it worked. It was better than, 2. Just like in, Paper Mario the Origami King, they brought back partners, but the partners weren't as memorable as 64 or the remake Thousand Year Door or original Thousand Year Door. Like, they did give us partners, but it just wasn't that chef's kiss kind of partners. Luigi's Mansion 3 ghosts were good, but they just weren't that chef's kiss Luigi's Mansion portrait ghost, which you guys are going to see in these videos, or this video. So yeah, I am a huge fan of Luigi's Mansion. I hope we do get a Luigi's Mansion 4. It's definitely a franchise. This is franchisable. I don't know why this is also called Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 2 was at least in a mansion. Luigi's Mansion 3 could have been called Luigi's Hotel, but I guess it wouldn't make much sense. But yeah, 3 is not a mansion, it's a hotel. But I still liked it. So, without further ado, let's start talking about this game. So, this is also one of the few Nintendo games that has a unique opening spook factor when the game says Nintendo. Like, Nintendo GameCube, especially when you think of GameCube, you get that... You think of that, because that is GameCube. But it's the way that, like, it says Nintendo after that, like, Nintendo. It's just really unique. That's only done in this Luigi's Mansion game. So, what is the story of Luigi's Mansion? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Luigi and his brother won a brand new mansion in the middle of nowhere from a contest they never even entered. Makes sense, right? I mean, who cares? It's free. You want a free mansion. You entered a contest that you won a contest that you didn't even enter. I mean, who knows? Maybe you did and you forgot about it. Well, Mario tells us he's going to meet us there. And he seems to have left before us because before we even arrive, we're calling out for Mario. Mario, where are you? Mario. I mean, he must be here. He said he beat us here. Which is why you will hear Luigi throughout the game call Mario's name. He also says it in different, like... and I want to say different tones, but there's a better word than tones. But, like, he says Mario's name in different like... variations. I really love it. It's the only speaking lines that Luigi has. He doesn't say anything else. He doesn't talk. But like even hearing Luigi's voice is kind of cool. Just like in Super Mario 64, you heard Mario say yippee, yippoo, wah ha ha. Like it was the first time you heard them talk. Now I also love that when Luigi's in a bright room and a room is brightly lit up, that means there's no ghost in the area. Luigi kind of struts around confidently. He'll even whistle the main theme. But then when a room is dark, and then that means ghosts are still around, he'll walk around scared and he'll hum the theme kind of scared, like and also at the same time, over Luigi, you'll hear the ghost mimicking him, kind of like mocking him. They're like It really is so fucking unique and amazing. Like this game is so good. Now, if our brother, even in this ghost-infested mansion, well, we don't know if it's ghost-infested yet, but even if our brother is in this mansion, it's up to us to find him. Even if it's in this...
There's the road on the other side of this deep, dark, dangerous,
hazardous, monster infested.
yeah, monster infested
mansion. We have to find Mario. Besides, there's absolutely no such thing as...
I have to tell you, there are no such thing as ghouls, ghosts, goblins, or monsters. Now listen up. There is absolutely no such thing as...
Okay, there are ghosts. So our first encounter with the ghost of the mansion, we meet Professor Egad, a scientist who's been trying to recapture all the ghosts in the mansion after they escape, thanks to the booze and boolasses. There is more to this story. We're going to get into that as well. But that's right, these are portrait ghosts. Something that Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon failed to make memorable, as I've already said, and Luigi's Mansion 3 with the hotel kind of did, but it was missing something that the original just did better. Like, the original just did something better with these ghosts than 2 or 3 did. And you're going to see that, as I said, as we get to the ghost. And I'm not just talking about the design, but what motivates them to attack, or just how they live in this mansion as if it was their home. These ghosts, they're all not related. But me and my brother Tristan, who also played this game with me and beat it before me, in our headcanon, we made them relatives. Because you'll find out at some point that Neville, Lydia, which are the mother and father, the twins, Oliver and somebody else, Orville and somebody else, I think it's Orville and Henry, and then Chauncey are related, but the other ghosts aren't. And we don't find out how these ghosts died. But as a child, yeah, we thought of them as one big family, and that they somehow died together, which is kind of dark, because how did a baby and the twins die? Like, the mother, I mean, not that, like, they all can't die, but, like, you let your baby die? Like, it's crazy, and that's probably why the game doesn't get into it. Like, however these portrait ghosts died, it had to have been something tragic. But it's also these porch ghosts and their personalities that makes Luigi Mansion one of the best games of all time. There's a reason why Luigi's Mansion is so memorable, despite how short the game is, despite how it's been, what, 24 years since the game came out, and it's still this relevant. There's a reason for that. So after meeting Professor Egad, we are safely transported to his lab, which is located just outside the mansion. There's a reason for that too. Professor Egad recalls seeing Mario go into the mansion but not come back out. He theorizes that the ghosts may have captured Mario and now they're after Luigi. He doesn't know who these brothers are, but he assumes, like, if they got your brother and he's in there and they lured you here after winning a contest that you didn't enter, they're definitely after you guys. But why else? Because why else wouldn't Luigi just turn around and leave and throw away the key? You know, like Brenda, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Lord, I'm having a heart attack. Sam, this is some scary shit. Oh, I am scared.
Yeah, Luigi is a scaredy cat. Luigi is scared of ghosts. That's like what he's known for. So the fact that Luigi doesn't just up and leave and run, he's like, okay, well, I'm leaving, tell my brother bye, is because Luigi wants to save his brother. And because Mario's our brother, we can't leave him behind, even though he is the brave one. Mario's the one that fights Bowser. Mario's the one that goes after the princess. Mario's the one that fights all these Koopas. Yes, Luigi has been on those adventures with them. That's what's called the Mario Brothers, but Luigi is known to be the scaredy one. Or at least he's notoriously known to be the one afraid of ghosts specifically. So after a training montage and learning to use our main weapon, the Poltergeist 3000, we are armed with a flashlight and are ready to head back into the mansion. So this game has some pretty simple mechanics. We're going to get into all the mechanics as well, but like really all you have in this game is a flashlight and your Poltergeist 3000. Everything else, like there's no goo mechanic like there is in Luigi's Mansion 3. I think in Dark Moon there's like a dark light that reveals like hidden things. This game is way more simpler than that. For example, combat is pretty simple. Your heart represents your health. If it starts out with 100 and it's always beating, representing Luigi, like, you know, his health, but also his like fear level. And then the more Luigi gets damaged, the more his heart like decreases and it gets smaller and smaller. It's almost like Luigi being scared to death. Like once Luigi dies, he's gonna become a part of this mansion. He's gonna become one of these portrait ghosts. So I really like that. The flashlight stuns ghosts briefly before they disappear, but at the same time it exposes their heart. So the flashlight mechanic is kind of the same like it is, I think, in 3. I don't remember 3 has like the flashlight mechanic where you stun their heart. I know 2 does, but you flash the light on the ghost, it stuns them and it reveals their heart. You have like 1 or 2 seconds to like start sucking them up, otherwise they're just gonna disappear and you gotta try it all over again. but it's fairly easy. I mean, very easy, not fairly easy. It's then you use your Poltergeist 3000 to suck them up until the ghosts are consumed. They usually have like a amount of health, like 10 to, I know the highest is 500, but usually like the early ghosts are like 10 to 40. And you just suck them up and pull back. Make sure you pull back because they will drag you. If they drag you, it's gonna break the connection because you're basically like a Ghostbuster, like I said. Like you're trying to pull the ghost in, like wrangle the ghost in, basically. Whereas if you let the ghost drag you, it's gonna get away and you're gonna take a lot of damage. Now, clearing all the ghosts in a darkened area turns all the lights on, and it also changes how Luigi acts. As I said earlier, like Luigi will walk around more confidently, knowing their ghosts are clear of that area. Whereas if the room is still darkened, he will hum the theme of the game to himself in an afraid manner, and you can hear the ghost mocking and humming him in a darkened version. I'm going to make sure you guys can hear some of that. I know like some of the gameplay is playing in the background, but I want to make sure you guys hear how the ghosts mock him in a dark room versus how Luigi hums to himself in a bright room and he feels confident. His breath also, when you're not moving, will always blow cold air, representing like the ghosts are present, like it's cold, because that's what like ghosts are known to do. Like ghosts exist in cold rooms, so like when you see your breath you see your breath before you, it's speculated that like a ghost could be there. But once the lights are back on, the breathing goes away, and Luigi, if he stands there, he's just like whistling to himself. He just seems pretty contained. He's even smiling. He's not as afraid as he would be. I also love how when Luigi is about to open a new door, his hand shakes. Like he doesn't just like put the key in and like turn it. Like he's like, what's on the other side of this door? Like I don't know what's gonna come next. But like if a room is already lit up and it's bright, when he opens the door, he just turns it. He just walks through. There's no cutscene. That's just more great touches that these devs put in there. Because the fear of the unknown of what's on the other side. But once you're in the room, like I said, he'll enter without hesitation. But like before that, he's afraid. He's like, but he still does it anyway because he has to save his brother. He knows his brother's in this mansion. He knows the ghost took him. There are other mechanics involved that involve elements that are pretty simple and easy to figure out and how to use. But we'll talk about those when we get there. There's some mechanics like elements like fire, water, and ice. They're pretty simple. Again, this game's mechanic was the goo mechanic. Dark Moon was the dark light mechanic. This one has element mechanics, but they're pretty easy to figure out, and we're going to talk about them as we unlock them. You also have Game Boy Horror, which is a clever pun at the time because at the time Nintendo type handhelds like Game Boy, as I said, Game Boy Advance. I know Game Boy SP was a thing at some point. I don't remember how they changed so quickly, but I know it was like Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP, which was really dope. It was a smaller version of the Game Boy. It was like a slimmer version of the Game Boy, and then Game Boy, or the Nintendo 3DS, which was the current and last one we had, Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS. But at the time, the reason why the Game Boy Horror was a pun in this game is because the games that made it popular at the time were like Pokemon Red, Blue, Gold, Silver. I know some Dragon Ball Z games exist. Other games existed, but Pokemon was the big one, and people were playing on Game Boy. And the Game Boy Horror is going to give you access to the map of the mansion. It shows you from the balcony to the basement, like every floor. I think there's like 3 to 4 floors in the whole mansion. And it can show you like what rooms are open, what rooms are trap doors, because there are trap doors in here. Ghosts are going to try to trick you into going to doors that don't even exist, and they'll just do like 10 damage to you. Or you hear the ghost laugh when you like open a door that doesn't exist. I'll make sure I shoot some clips off of that too. And then it also shows you where to go next. Like sometimes there's an icon of a key. Like if you got a key from like a chest, it's like, hey, this is the next room you need to go to. This is what that key unlocks. But you can also backtrack at any moment. There's always a reason to backtrack and things like that, especially when chasing ghosts. But we're gonna get to that. Because of course, this mansion, there are fake doors for ghosts that want to kill you because one, they're pranksters, and then two, they didn't want you to stop them. They don't want you to stop Save Mario. They want you to become a part of it. They want you to become a part of the mansion. They want to kill you. There's also, in the very beginning of the game, if you look up at the chandelier will spin around and fall down on you, like basically to crush you, like knock you out. It won't really do that to Luigi. It won't knock you out or do damage, but it's just another cool gimmick that, like, to show how haunted this mansion is. There are mirrors that if you take a picture of them, they will transport you back to the main hall at all times. There's not a reason to explain for that, but you could just chop it up the poltergeist or try to play a trick on you and prank on you. But yeah, These ghosts are basically dicks. That's pretty much what the game is trying to say. These ghosts are dicks. They want to kill you. Stay alert. If you was Luigi in this real mansion, watch out for falling chandeliers. They're gonna try to crush you. Don't take pictures of mirrors unless you want to get back to the main hallway. And don't open just any door. Look at your Game Boy Horror first, unless you're familiar with the doors. You can also use the Game Boy Horror to take a photo of ghost hearts to get a clue into what they're thinking, or sometimes a tip to how to take them down. So it mostly works on portrait ghosts. When you see a portrait ghost, they normally are like nonchalant. Some of them attack off the bat, but not always. But they'll just be sitting there. You can take a picture of their heart, and you can either read what they're thinking about Luigi, or you can read about like what they were thinking about in their past life, or just like a gimmick of how to take them down. Usually, there's one or two ghosts that'll tell you in advance how to take them down. It's also equipped with the boo radar, but we'll get to that later once we unlock the boos. Now, one other thing I missed as a kid was Professor Egad actually caused this whole mess. This is a part of the story that I was waiting to get up to. He built a machine to transform all the ghosts he captured with the Poltergeist 3000 into portraits. He called this machine the Ghost Portrificationizer. I don't know. That's how it's spelled. That's how it's said. I mean, he doesn't say it out loud in the game, but you have to assume that's how it's pronounced. The Portrificationizer. It sounds like something out of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs with, the BS USB.
The BS USB reprogrammed it?
Was never gonna turn off the machine. A BS USB. Hello.
That random ass thing just popped in my head when I was thinking about that. Egad then traveled the world showing off the portraits of the ghosts he collected, and he started collecting more ghosts, and he succeeded.
We dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokemon. And we succeeded.
Until he met a giant boo named Boolossus. Now, Boolossus is a boo made up of 15 boos, and all these boos work under King Boo. And Professor Egad, he was successful until he battled these boos and Boolossus, and that's when he lost. With his defeat, they freed King Boo and all the boos freed all the ghosts from their portraits, and to add insult to injury, they built a mansion right in front of his lab to taunt him. So that's why Egad's lab exists in front of the mansion. These ghosts built it there to like be like, hey, nanny boo boo, we escaped. Come back and get us if you want to. And that's why in the beginning of the game, when Luigi goes into the mansion and he runs into those ghosts, Egad is trying to get these ghosts back into their portraits. Because he's not as young as he used to be, the ghosts are kind of walking all over him. They're like, oh, you old man, you can't catch us anymore. And so he turns to Luigi to basically fix his mess and save his brother. And so because our brother's life is on the line, and kind of Egad's pride, because Egad feels like he's responsible for all this, which he is, he put all these ghosts together in one spot, or in one area, and so they now combined their powers together and created this mansion. We head back into the mansion despite our fears, but armed with everything we need to hopefully take these ghosts down. Like I said, all you need is your Game Boy Horror, your Boo Radar, your Poltergeist 3000, and your flashlight, and that's all this game gives you. That's all you're going to need for this game. Now, one great thing about this game is the type of ghosts we will face, even the ones that aren't portrait ghosts. So this is where we're going to get into the type of ghosts you face that are better than the ones in Luigi's Mansion 3 and are better than the ones in Dark Mode. So now let's talk about the ghost types. Starting with the weakest one, the Gold Ghost. I know Gold Ghosts have about 10 health, so they're the main ghost you'll encounter. They're kind of even on the cover. Well, they put them in the shadows, but they're back here. They have about 10 health. You first stun them, and then, you expose their hearts, and you suck them up. Next up are Purple Hunters. They look pink to me. I don't know why they're called Purple Hunters. It's these guys right here. But again, you can see them in the gameplay video. They're usually with the Gold Ghost, and they will swing at you, and if they miss, they get kind of like upset. They're like, ah. But if they hit you, they start laughing. They think it's funny. After that, we have Blue Twirlers. Blue Twirlers aren't exactly the next ghosts that show up, but they are the next in line in terms of health. They're these big blue guys right here with the yellow eyes, and, well, they all have yellow eyes, but the big blue guys. They pound the ground, and they create like a shockwave, and they have about 30 health. Now, one thing I've noticed is they don't seem like get stunned, in my opinion. They seem like they still come after you, but I could be wrong. Just in my game playthroughs, they usually come like multiple times, even after they get stunned. After that, we have garbage can ghosts, which is usually the third ghost type you'll encounter early in the game. These are among the few non-combative ghosts. There's a few that aren't combative. They're just here to eat bananas and then leave their peels on the ground. If you ignore the peels when you're trying to suck up the ghost, as I said, you're trying to wrangle the ghost back in, you will trip on them and you'll lose hold of the ghost. So that's what the garbage can ghosts are for. Honestly, it's best to get rid of the garbage can ghosts first. They're green. Again, they're non-combative, but like you risk tripping on other banana peels when trying to capture other ghosts if you don't deal with the garbage can ghost immediately. Next up is Speedy Spirits. Speedy Spirits are a variation of Gold Ghosts. They are blue, but they're non-combative. They will try to run away the moment you see them. So usually when you open a chest or something like that, or you open a case, they'll scare you and then they'll try to run away. But usually your flashlight's already on them, so they'll be stunned. In that same second, suck them up as quickly as you can, because if they get away, you're losing a lot of money and a lot of coins. And again, the game, I don't know if I mentioned this before, the game is going to emphasize you find as much jewels as you can. There's even some hidden jewels and stuff like that. We're going to get to those when we get there. But yeah, collect as much money as you can before the game ends, because if they get away, you're going to get a really bad ending. You're going to get a really bad rank by the end of the game. Mice and bats are kind of general. They kind of run at you, but at the same time, they like run away from you. They don't have health. They just automatically suck up. But because they're just kind of annoying, go ahead and suck them up if you see them. There are a variation of like gold mice. Gold mice are worth a lot of money. They make like a noise whenever they appear, and it happens randomly. Usually in a hallway. Usually in that main corridor hallway too. So anytime you hear that noise, make sure you capture that gold mouse. Grabbing ghosts, these are very dark for a kid's game. These grabbing ghosts literally come behind you and choke you to death. And they like make like this like laughing noise, and the way they like breathe, and the way they're like bouncing as their hands come towards you. It really freaked me the fuck out as a kid, and even now as an adult, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, some dark shit for some a kid's game. And they also have variations, like some of them are invisible. Well, I guess it's the same, because the mirror versions of them are invisible. You have to look through the mirror glass to see them. And then the other ones that are also invisible, at one point you're in a projector room and they float at you and they're invisible, and you have to look at the projector screen to see them. Or you'll hear like the smoke forming around you. They're very freaky. And they get upset when they can't choke you. They do the same thing as purple punchers. But as I said, it's that face of like coming towards you with their hands, like they're ready to choke you out. Those guys freak me out. Next up are ceiling surprise ghosts. These ghosts are just annoying. There's two versions of the ceiling surprise ghost. The first version is like clear. And other variations of these ghosts have different colors. None of that really matters, but until you get to the element types. But like I said, I'll explain to you the different types when we get there, if they're necessary. But yeah, the first ceiling ghost is kind of clear. He just kind of hangs down. He just pops up from the ceiling, scares Luigi, laughs, goes back up. He has 0 health. The second kind of ghost is the same kind, except he's purple, and he's like a ceiling surprise bomber ghost. He drops a bomb. It's easy to dodge, because just like the ceiling ghost, he just comes out the ceiling, laughs, drops a bomb. And even though they get you or not, they're just going to burst into laughter, because they think it's hilarious that Luigi's just getting scared to death. But absorb all the ceiling ghosts you can, especially in I think it's called the backyard. Absorb all those ghosts. You can usually clear out an area if it's just ceiling ghosts everywhere. So annoying as they are, and as harmless as they are, still suck those guys up. Next up is the bowling ghost. He's similar to the ceiling ghost bomber, whereas he'll just appear behind you and he'll roll a ball of like a bomb towards you. But it's easy to dodge. He has 0 health and he's not much of a threat. But again, because you want to clear as many ghosts as you can to like light up the hallways, go ahead and get the bowling ball ghost too. And if he misses, he does get upset like the other ghosts. He's like, damn it, you got away. I was hoping to kill you with that. But they usually pop back up. The exploding point ghost. These ghosts slowly come out of doors and paintings and will explode if you come in contact with them or try to suck them up. I haven't found a way to get them, maybe if you use the elements, but either way, like they're non-combative they're inconsequential. You can clear a hallway without getting those ghosts. Don't know what their point is if you can't absorb them, but I guess they're just there to do you damage. And Luigi's hat will light on fire if you get hit by one of them, which is a pretty funny gimmick. Mr. Bones, the first time you'll encounter these is in the second area with Bogmire and Spooky. They're like a variation of Dry Bones, which are the Koopas that are dead. These are like human ghosts that are dead and have turned to skeletons. They have 30 health for attack, and they will fling their bones at you to like do damage and stuff like that. Like kind of like the Hammer Coopers, like the Hammer Bros. They're like that, except they throw their bones. Shy ghosts are basically dead shy guys. Their hearts are hidden behind their mask, so you can't automatically stun them the moment they appear, or anything like that. You have to suck up their mask and then stun them. So they have like a double thing. Usually they're non-combative, especially if they have a partner, but they will they'll like dance around each other till they get close to you, then both of them will stab you with a fork or like a pitchfork. If you do absorb one of their partners, then they become combative and will just keep floating towards you, but they're kind of slow, they move very slowly. And you can absorb multiple shy ghosts at once, usually, especially if you get in close contact with the other ones. There are variations of all these ghosts, but like I said, they mostly work the same. However, there are a few exceptions, and those are going to be the elemental ghosts. The first elemental ghost is a fire ghost. They must be sprayed with water to expose their hearts. Once their hearts are exposed, you can hit them with the flashlight, or you can just, spray them with water until their heart extinguishes. Ice ghosts must first be burned with fire to melt their hearts. Then you can stun them with the light, or you can hit them with the fire the whole time until they die. And the last one is going to be ice ghosts, which you must burn their hearts to fire until their hearts are exposed, or you can just keep like icing them. Oh no, that's the water ghost. Yeah, ice ghosts. Yeah, ice ghosts have to be burned with fire until their heart melts, and then you can either keep burning them or just burn them so their heart's exposed and then shine a light on them. So it basically works like Pokemon, fire, grass, water. It's where it's like fire affects ice, affects water, affects fire. So that's Luigi's Mansion's whole. And again, it could have been done for Pokemon because Pokemon was big with Luigi's Mansion, but that's how you deal with the elemental type ghosts. Oh, and no, apparently there's water ghosts too. I don't know. Oh yeah, there are water ghosts. But there's only 4. I might have mixed one of them up. But yeah, there's also water ghosts. Water ghosts' hearts must be frozen with ice before their hearts are exposed, or you can freeze them until they disappear. And I'll explain more of these when we get there. These are just the exceptional ghosts. But yeah, there are fire ghosts, water ghosts, and ice ghosts. I feel like I said 4, but I think I just let them say 3. But you can tell these ghosts depart way from the other ghosts because like there's like a spirit over their hearts basically, like it's either like a water spirit, an ice spirit, or a fire spirit. You'll be easily tell which ghost types these are, and you won't be able to deal with them until you deal with the proper element on them first. Now the game isn't going to tell you this, as I said. Okay, this is why I'm bringing this up. But collect all the money you can because it matters. At the very end of the game, you're going to be ranked by how much money you collected, how many jewels you found, and I ended up missing something somewhere because I thought I collected everything in the game. I don't know, again, this is not my playthrough. I don't know what this guy got at the end of his rank, but at the end of my rank, I got D rank, and I was sure I collected everything. I looked for jewels, I might have missed the mice, I might have missed the plant outside of Bogmire, which I'll get to, but somehow I still got a D rank, and I looked it up. I was like, I don't know how I got a D rank, but I looked it up and I still couldn't understand it. But alas, we're gonna stay on topic. Also, the music in this game is a bop. I just want to say that now. But also, this game is way better than anything in Dark Moon or the hotel in Luigi Mansion 3. So after that long intro, let's finally get to the game. And to start, we're gonna light the black flame candles.
What's that?
Oh, it's the black flame candle.
Black flame candle. Made from the fat of a hangman. Legend says that on a full moon it will raise the spirits of the dead when lit by a virgin on Halloween night. So let's light the sucker and meet the old broads. And do the honors?
No, thanks.
Stupid cat!
Okay, Max. You've had your fun. It's time to go. Come on, Allison.
Max, she's right. Let's go.
Oh, come on. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
Max, I'm not kidding this time. It's time to go. Max, no!
You have to love how creative Nintendo is with this mansion. Every room and detail feels lived in, unlike in Dark Moon, where they were just kind of like there. The ghosts in Dark Moon just felt like they were just here, just to be here, or they just got put there by King Boo. And then in 3, in the hotel, it did feel like the ghosts were living there, but again, the hotel was kind of random. Like, there was no theme to the hotel. And Luigi's Mansion 1, it feels like these ghosts are our family, even though they're not. Aside from, again, the twins, the mother, the father, and the baby, the rest of these ghosts were just found around the world. But me and my brother's headcanon, me and my brother Tristan's headcanon, we made them all a family because we found ways to like call them different members of family and things like that. But it is time to get to the first family and the first boss fight in the game. So first, we have to deal with the father, Neville. This was really cool. My first playthrough, I was so shocked how detailed these ghosts were. Like, these ghosts look, again, at this point, you know, Luigi's Mansion was the first kind of different game for a Mario game. Well, not different, but like the first kind of Ghostbusters Mario game. So you weren't expecting these ghosts to be like anything that were different from the ghosts we already faced. The gold ghost, but at this point it'd be the gold ghost, the garbage can ghost, and the purple puncher. You weren't expecting anything else. To see ghosts this detailed was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Me and my brother nicknamed him the father before we found out Noah was actually the father, just because he was in his study, reading a book by firelight, living his best life, but we were about to fuck up his day. We were like, oh, you're enjoying reading your book, you're enjoying your time away from your kids and your wife, just having a good old time, oh, you're about to fuck your day up. If you look at him before he exposes his heart, it won't work like normal ghosts that we've caught so far. This is the first time the devs and the game is telling us you can't take portrait ghosts down the same way you take down the regular ghost. So instead, you have to stand close to him but turn your back to him and wait for him to yawn. There's no cue to tell you that this is going to happen. You just have to do it. Just turn your back, because that's the only time you're going to notice that he's visible. And then while you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're like, what do I do? And he just starts, and his heart's exposed. Because I think while he reads his book, if you use the Game Boy Horror, he says something like, oh, you'll never figure out how to catch me or something like that. But it was really creative. And once he does expose his heart, that's when you shine the light on him to stun him and absorb him in one go. This one can be done in one go. There's a lot of portrait ghosts that you can, if you're really like good at like wrangling them in and not tripping or being pulled, you can get them in one go. The more successful you are at catching the portrait ghosts, you're going to get a particular frame for them. I think I'll talk about that later. But I caught him in one go. I'm not sure again what this playthrough is going to do. It was incredible. Mind you, he does not go down without a fight. All the portrait ghosts, they will drop these purple mushroom shells, and they will shrink you they will damage you, but they also shrink Luigi if he gets hit by them, and it does like a little bit of damage, and Luigi can't suck up or use his light while he's shrunken down. Also, in his room, there's a possessed flying book that flies up the shelves directly at you, basically trying to like kill you before you can absorb the portrait ghosts. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then eventually you will be restored. If you do get hit by that purple mushroom, it will restore you at some point. It just takes a couple seconds. Post-its defeat. If you read the books on the bookshelf, they're behind you. There are 4 of them. Here you can learn about the twin sons, Orville and Henry, I think their names are. and the baby Chauncey early. Reading this book tells you that the twins fear fire, water, ice, and wind. These aren't relative to their fight, and I didn't use them, but I suppose it might be worth it if the devs mentioned it. I'll get to that when I talk about the twins segment. There are other books in here, even about elemental ghosts that you'll encounter later in the game, including metals that you will need to obtain to control those elements. So the game's already telling you, like, hey, there's going to be certain ghosts coming up later, fire ghosts, water ghosts, and ice ghosts, and you're going to need elements to control those powers and capture them. And the last book is from the mother's perspective about how the twins hate when anyone spins their toy helicopter. It drives them mad. And she knows this because they did this and they threw away the key to the room somewhere far away in the mansion so that she can't get back in there. Which is also hilarious because everybody's a ghost, so she can just go to the walls and go to the room. She don't need a key. But it just shows the personality of the twins and like how the mother probably raised them to be bratty or probably wasn't much of a mother to them in the first place. And it's an also important context for later for their encounter. But a very great, great theme, especially when describing this family of ghosts. Now, the next is the mother Lydia. Mother is all about her vanity. Like, she is in the mirror. She loves herself. She's been feeling herself since the day she died. And she's still feeling herself. She's feeling her. She feeling mine. She stopped the world. She stopped the world. She stopped the world. Carry on. Okay, that's how she acting. She is dead and still obsessed with how she looks. She been dead for who knows how long, but is obsessed with combing her hair. And I mean, she ain't got to check on the twins. She ain't got to check on the baby. She ain't got to check on her husband. Everybody dead. So she like, you know what? I ain't got to worry about them because, you know, everybody dead. My husband's always in the study reading his books. The twins always in there causing chaos. And the baby, well, even if the baby cried, the baby dead. What the baby need? She like, I'm just going to comb my hair. I love how the game, again, gives these ghost personalities like that. But it's also concerning because how did the family die then? Because, the baby died, all your children died, the wife and the husband died. We know that these ghosts are our family and the twins. We know that these ghosts in particular are family. The rest of the ghosts are found all over the world. So I'm like, how did this family die? Especially the baby. The baby was barely born. You know, I don't know. Maybe the father was in the study reading and the mama was too busy combing her hair. The twins probably set the house on fire. You know, I don't know. It's dark, but I don't know. The game does not tell us how this family died. Anyways, her gimmick is you got to mess up her hair by opening the window and letting the wind blow her weave off. Okay, not literally. You don't blow her weave off. But could you imagine if her hair just blew off her head? That'd be... that's where her heart is. It's all... You got to suck up the weave. Nintendo isn't. They ain't that crazy. Anyways, no, instead the breeze is just too much for her and then her heart is exposed. And then you can suck her up. This made me and Tristan laugh as a kid. I do like her bedroom though, as well as on her dresser. You can see a picture of herself and her husband Neville, which is a great touch because again, it makes these ghosts feel like they live in the mansion. It makes them feel like a family, which again, these particular ghosts are. Upon leaving the room, that's when we get this iconic scene. It's time to face the first boss ghost, the baby Chauncey. The sound of that baby crying will haunt Luigi's nightmares. As we enter this room, the baby seems to be playing possum or sleeping. She appears docile compared to the previous two ghosts in the room. Like, she's just like, oh, I want to play with somebody. She's like, I'm bored. And but the other ghosts were doing something. So you're like, okay, what triggers this baby? What makes this baby do something? And shining the light over the baby does not expose its heart. But the baby is trying to determine if you're fun or not. In this room, you can find items that will be used in our boss fight against them. That's right. This is the first fight, a boss baby. The first of 4 in Luigi's Mansion. And this boss baby, man, it is one of the most iconic moments in all of Luigi's Mansion. Like, I guarantee you, anybody in Luigi's Mansion, if you play that baby sound, that wah, wah, yeah, we all know that sound if you play Luigi's Mansion. To trigger the fight with the boss baby, you gotta rock his horsey. And now that he's up, he's going full poltergeist. Like, once you rock that horse, that baby's like, oh, you want to play? Okay, I'm down for that. He will try to kill you with stuffed teddy bears flinging themselves off the walls at you, but just hit him once with his bouncy ball, and doing so is going to stun him. briefly, but this is going to send him into a full tantrum. The baby has a fully developed frontal lobe, and he hates grown-ups because they're old and tall, and that's something he'll never be because he's dead. I mean, that is literally like a fourth wall breaking. Like, the baby like has a full like developed mind. It's like, oh, I'll never get to grow old because I died as a baby. I'll never get to grow taller. And because I died as a baby. Like, all you guys are taller than me. I hate it. All of you are taller than me. I was like, this is dark for a child ghost. But anyways, he wants to be big. So he wants to be big for once. So he demands that you grow smaller and smaller so that he can be grown now. And we continue with the iconic scenes, with this one stretched into every Luigi's Mansion player's memory as well. Check out this scene. So with some ghost voodoo, we are teleported into his crib and we've shrunken in size. Yes, it is hilarious. But what's next is these giant rocking horses fly at us. They're easy enough to dodge, and this is followed up by bouncing balls that will try to squash us. You just have to wait till the very last ball stops bouncing, and that's the one you're gonna suck up. And then you're gonna sucker punch that baby in the face. This is the only time that violence is allowed in a kid's game. Anyways, we then can attempt to absorb him in our vacuum, but unlike the previous Portrait Ghost, this one doesn't go down easy, and there's a minimum of at least 2 phases, as this shows the separation between boss ghosts and regular Portrait Ghosts. Like, boss ghosts can't be captured in one go, they have different phases, but regular Portrait Ghosts can be if you're really good at capturing them. Because he's a superhuman baby, he will bust out of your vacuum and then try to belly bounce you to death. Again, easily dodged. I don't know why that was hard. That sentence is so hard to say, but it's easy to dodge. This first boss fight is incredibly easy. It's hard to die in this first boss fight unless you're really bad at playing. Also, in between phases, the baby will clap happily as though he was like saying, "Dance, monkey, dance!" Like, again, this whole fight is just iconic in my head. Post the capture of our first boss fight, and every time we beat one of them, we're transferred back to Professor Egad's lab so he can turn these ghosts back into portraits for the first time. And this is the first time we'll get to see it. This is the first time we're going to get to see the portrification in use. Again, I don't know, that's a weird long name, Professor Egad. Weird name to say. Also, while this process is happening, let me explain another gimmick of this game. Depending on how well you did capturing the ghost, specifically the portrait ghost, you get a bronze, silver, or gold frame. Bronze is the basic frame. That means you captured the ghost, period. Silver is if you can deal a good amount of damage before the ghost breaks out. So basically, you absorb the ghost until he gets to about 7. I think it's between 80 and 70%. I'm gonna say 60, 50 to 70%, get them down to 50 to 70% health, and then gold is it took over 60% of their health, which is basically like if they're at 100, you got them down to like 40 or below. Before they broke out, you're gonna get a gold frame. That matters just to show how well you're doing in the game, capturing portrait ghosts, but I don't think it overall affects the rank at the end of the game, which again we're going to talk about, because that's more focused on the money part, but we're going to get to that too. Lastly, even though it mentions area 1, 2, or 3, you can always 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can always go back to area 1, 2, or 3. This game has so much backtracking as well. Well, you're going to need to backtrack at some certain points, especially when you're hunting down booze. But at any point, you can go back to previous rooms, because there sometimes can be ghosts in there. There's sometimes treasures and jewels in there. Reasons to go back in there and double check things, obviously. But it will calculate all the money and gems you found in that certain area at the current point of the game. And also the first time that EGAD mentions that the machine can also be used backwards, which is a hint towards the end of the game. But again, collecting money is a huge thing in this game because it's going to determine the ending rank that you get. And again, I don't know how, but I collected all the money I could find, and I still got a D rank. But we'll see what this guy gets. But collect all the money you can while you're playing the game. Whew. But yeah, so. But alas, how the booze might have released. So because EGAD tells us that like the machine can be used backwards to like release ghosts, we know that that's how the booze definitely got these portrait ghosts out. But also, again, it's going to be important towards the end of the game. So let's move on to the next portrait ghost, the floating Whirlanders. Now, me and my brother called these ghosts the grandparents. I don't know their exact age, but again, in our headcanon, everybody in this mansion was family. But from the outside, But from here on out, outside of Neville, Lydia, Chauncey, and later the twins, no ghosts are confirmed to be related, as I said earlier. Only Chauncey, Lydia, Neville, and the twins are confirmed to be a family. So from here on, it's just me and my brother's headcanon. Now, before the poacher ghosts appear, you have to get rid of the shy ghosts first. These are those shy ghosts we had talked about earlier, where you have to suck up their mask before they can have their hearts exposed. And they're kind of like nonchalant, as well as the whirlwinders are going to be, but they will attack you once their partner gets absorbed, or they will attack you if you're too close to them. Now, once you have cleared the area, the whirlwinders will appear dancing on a spinning floor. You can't look directly at them, and they will never expose their hearts. Like Neville, you have to look away from them, but at the same time, they don't reveal their hearts immediately. Like, you have to wait till they make a cheer sound. I think it's like, whoa! Like, they toss their hands up in the air, and that's when their hearts are exposed, and you can go after them. Going through them while they're, like, dancing or, like, all glittery, it doesn't do damage to you. And as far as I know, they don't attack you, as far as I remember. Like, they're kind of like docile ghosts. They're kind of like the mother and they're kind of like Lydia and Neville, where, like, they're just trying to live their best life and you just happen to be there. Nothing in this room will also attack you outside of the shy guy ghost you just dealt with. So I'm assuming that's probably why, because you just fought the shy ghost and then they appeared. But once you suck them up, we obtain the key to the storage room. Now, this is just before the midpoint of the game, where we're going to meet the main villain of the story, your first and only fetch quest in the game, King Boo and his 50 boos. Which has some hilarious and clever pun names. I'm not going to show all of them off. But as you encounter the boos, you'll see their puns and names and the little quotes they have to say with them. However, you will need to find all 50 boos if you want to complete this. It's not mandatory to capture all 50 boos once they escape. However, if you want the gold gem that you get from collecting all 50, it's important. As a kid, I'm going to talk about this later, I had caught up to, I think I'll talk about it very soon actually. I think I put this early in my notes. Let me just see if I talk about this. But yeah, it's not mandatory to capture all the boos. However, the boos will not remain in one room. So once you start go after boos, they are gonna flee the room. No matter they don't stay in place. You have to follow them and the C-stick at them and try to suck them up. If they escape the room, you have to follow them immediately. If you don't follow them immediately, they're gonna hide. They can also go into rooms that you have no access to yet, and you have to find them later. This is how you'll run into some boos, like twice, like sometimes like 2 or 3 times at one point. I will clip in some scenes in here showing off boos and how they can run away and get into various rooms back and forth. You want to catch all 50 again if you want the gold diamond reward. It can be tedious, but it is worth it, especially if you want the max rank that you can get in this game. However, since neither of these are my game playthroughs, I will tell you what I did, as well as what many other players might have experienced before you. So every room potentially has one boo, unless a boo has escaped, and that's when you're going to have 2 boos or 3 boos in the same room. Sometimes there's even a boo playing a trap, like the boo radar. This is where the boo radar comes into play. If the radar is blue, it means that there's no boo in the room. If the radar is yellow, it has detected a boo or a boo trap. So you have to check everything. If you hear a boo's laughter, it means a boo could have moved. Or it means that like you're close to a boo. And if the boo radar turns red, you're right on top of a boo or a boo trap. But the one boo, or what everyone refers to as the 50th boo, is the hardest to find. And if you don't know about it or you don't have a guide, it is hiding in the butler's room. So this is the boo I'm specifically going to show off. As a kid, I found 49 out of 50 boos by the end of the game. I had checked all over the mansion. I had backtracked from area 1 to area 4. I had checked every room, and I was like, I have looked everywhere. There is no 50th Boo. I was like, the 50th Boo has to be King Boo. That's what I had convinced myself. I was 100% wrong. And I went into the boss fight 100% sure that King Boo was the 50th Boo. Only to find out by the end of the game, I was not. Only to find out by the end of the game, it was not. And I was not the only one. I even looked this up recently when I was doing this playthrough. I'm not the only person that thought that King Boo was the 50th Boo. Like, everybody had backtracked and thought they found the 50th Boo. Or they had found all 50 Boos, with King Boo included. But no, he is separate. He is the king. To find Boo number 50, I had to go online and double check where this 50th Boo was hiding because I still couldn't find it. It's in the butler's room, and there's a specific reason why I didn't find it. You have to open your Game Boy Horror and scan the room until you find a mouse hole. The game will not tell you this. You just have to know this. Or you have to have a game guide. The game, I guess maybe it wanted you to use a Game Boy Horror, but like at no point do you feel like you have to use the Game Boy Horror except for looking at ghost hearts or reading the ghost hearts or like looking for a booze detecting, because there's no boo. It's not going to tell you that a boo is in the butler's room. You have to go through a secret room in that mouse hole. But take a picture of it and you are transferred into a hidden room where you'll find gems, a lot of money, and the hidden secret boo, the 50th Boo. I'm calling it the 50th Boo. If you already knew about it, it's not the 50th Boo. But if you didn't know about it and you got to 49, this is going to be your 50th Boo. Trust me. That's what I'm calling it, Boo number 50. And oh my God, without YouTube or a guide, I would have never found this boo. So many of us would not have found this boo without a guide, or if you just got lucky. We also learned from here that EGAD has more information about boos and how they overpowered him. He mentions that the boos get more powerful the more numbers they have, and that they can even combine together into one giant boo called Boolossus, something that's even too powerful for your older brother Mario, foreshadowing that there is a boss fight coming at some point against a giant boo. So in order to defeat them, he recommends that we take them down one by one. So that's why we're hunting down these boos, because if we don't hunt them down, these boos can combine together into just one giant boo and like they'll be unstoppable. So we have to take them down. We have to weaken them before they can do that. Also, one other note about boos, they're not like regular ghosts. They are not hidden in dark rooms. They're only hidden in rooms that are already lit up. So if you go into a room that's dark, until you clear that room and make it light again, you're not going to know if there's a boo there or not. And if it stays dark, there probably is a boo in there. So, and plus, you want to light up them. You want to light up every room anyway, because it means it's clear of ghosts, and Luigi's done his job. Luigi has, cleared that area. So you want to clear every room as possible anyway. But it also makes these boos, it shows that these boos are more powerful than portrait ghosts. The fact that, like, they can hide in non-lit up rooms. I mean, they can hide in lit up rooms, because regular boos, regular ghosts, including portrait ghosts, can only hide in dark rooms, or boos can hide in lit up rooms. And that boos also can, like, flee from the poltergeist. Other ghosts cannot flee from the poltergeist, including boss ghosts, portrait ghosts. But don't worry. Oh yeah, this is why I talk about this. We have a way of detecting boos in this room, so you're not checking anything and everything for nothing. This is where Professor EGAD reveals that the Game Boy Horror has a feature called the Boo Radar. As I've already said, it's a small light that now appears in the corner of the screen. If the light on the Game Boy Horror is blue, it means it's free of all ghosts. If it turns yellow, a presence of a boo is near in that room, and there can be more than one boo in this room if a boo previously escaped. And lastly, boos are pranksters, and sometimes already remain yellow even after capturing a boo, because there's either a boo in there that you missed before. Because the only time there's going to be two boos in the same room is if a boo you had chased escaped. There's not going to be two boos in the same room just to be two boos in the same room. It'll either be a boo that escaped, and if you just started, it's probably a trap if you already caught that boo. Just so you know. Laughter can also mean that boos have changed hiding places. So if you were right on top of a boo and then you hear laughter, it means the boo could have changed where it's hiding. It's going to be in that same room, but it could have changed where it's hiding at. Now we get to the fire metal. Not too long after this area where you've released all the boos, you'll get the fire metal. It's in a room with more than one invisible choking ghost that still freak me out because their fucking faces and how they're like smiling as they try to get to you. And then it's crazy. Okay, you go see it in the gameplay. It's crazy. And their scream when they get caught is just, oh my god, what the hell. There's not a jump scare in Luigi's Mansion, but those ghosts are my jump scare, okay? But once you defeat them, you obtain the fire metal chest. You obtain the fire metal from the chest. There are certain burning fires that will allow you to absorb a fire spirit and allow you to expel fire from the poltergeist. This is the first time that we get the first element power. If you hold L For now, when you use the game controller, you're using right to use the poltergeist, but now you're using L for suck it up, but now you're using L to expel fire, water, and ice whenever you obtain those powers. But right now we have fire. Fire elements are mostly used for burning ice ghosts, lighting candles, which will be especially useful in capturing a particular portrait ghost that you probably already run into at this point. You probably see them in the hallway. We'll talk about it when we get there. But also, you'll need to light candles in certain areas to either activate switches, bring out ghosts, or make ghosts appear. But the elements have a limited run before they run out. You can always see that on the bottom meter of the screen. It adds like a new meter to show how much fire you have left, how much ice you have left, how much water you have left. But you can always refill it though, going back to capture a fire spirit or water spirit or ice spirit. Usually, it's not every fire, but you'll know when a fire is big enough that you can absorb a fire spirit from. You can also only use one element at a time. So if you have fire, but you need water, you have to go get a water spirit. If you have water, but you need ice, you have to go get an ice spirit. But you can't use two elements at once. You can't swap them out. You have to take them one at a time. Next is Madame Clairvoyant. We're not going to capture her here, but this is the first time we talk to her and meet her. She is one of the non-combative portrait ghosts. And we're going to talk about her briefly, but we'll talk about her capture later, because this is just where you first meet her. In the previous room where you obtain the fire metal, you will find a crystal ball, a psychic chair, and some unlit candles in the corner. First, ignite those candles with your flames, and then shine your light over the crystal ball. The neutral portrait ghost, Madame Clairvoyant, will appear. She is not combative. You can't suck her up, and her heart is not exposed here. We can't absorb her just yet, but she won't attack us, and she'll never attack us, because she is actually here because she wants to help to put the spirits at peace before she goes back into her painting. She feels, as a psychic ghost, she feels like all these ghosts are like in pain or in some kind of suffering, and she wants to help put them back to rest, put them back in her painting, and then she can go back to rest. And right now the spirits are at unease because someone is lost in a mansion, someone that needs help finding, someone like Mario. That's right. Our brother is missing, and Madame Clairvoyant, she can't see him, but she can feel him through the spirits. But in order to find him, she first needs 5 of his missing items to connect, and the spirits will talk to her through those 5 items. The 5 items that are missing are Mario's hat, which is in the laundry room, Mario's letter, which is in the bird box in the backyard, Mario's glove, Mario's shoe. I didn't make notes of where those are, but we'll get to those when we get there. And Mario's star, which is in the astral room. Again, we'll get to the 2 missing ones when we get there, but you'll collect these as you explore around the mansion. And they are necessary, and you will have to obtain them anyway because Madame Clairvoyant is one of the portrait ghosts. Once you obtain these items, we can absorb Madame Clairvoyant, but you can always come back and talk to her every time you obtain a new missing item, or you can bring them back all at once. Like, it's up to you. With like, after you get the hat, you want to come back and talk to her. After you get the letter, you come back and talk to her. After you get the glove, you come back and talk to her, or you can bring them all at once and just hear her monologue about Mario all at once. I think the game prefers you to bring them back one at a time because she does like small reveals here and there, and it's more like, oh wow, you know, when you hear it in the sequence, than hearing it all at once. So we will come back and talk about more of her later because I actually have some thoughts and some changes that I would put on her. There's only 2 changes in this whole game that I would do, and Madame Clairvoyant is one of those changes. Next up, we have the Butler Shivers. At some point while exploring the hallway, you might have seen these floating candlesticks pondering back and forth up and down the hallway. As a kid, when I first saw this, I shined the Game Boy on him. I saw his heart, and I was like, how do I capture this guy? I don't know what to do. The game at this point had not told me what to do. If you pull out the camera, you can see the Ghost Butler's heart and read his heart, learning 1 of 2 things. 1, he has a crush on Melody, the pianist, and he's hoping to scorch her heart. His words, not mine. I don't know why he would say it like that. But 2, and obviously it's telling you we need fire to light up his candles, which we now have, and might expose his heart. So after you light up his candles, his heart is not immediately exposed. You have to follow him all the way to his room, where you can beat him there if you already know where he's going, or just follow him. He's basically going to his butler's room, basically, and this is where you catch that 50th boo, as I talked about. If you already know about that 50th boo, if you don't know about that 50th boo, you're gonna capture all 49 boos and then have to go back there. But that's where he's going, and you basically can beat him there, or you can follow him. He is panicking because of the fire, and he's afraid it will burn down the mansion, so he has to put it out. And this made me wonder if that's how Well, we know this mansion was created by all the ghosts, but to say the mansion wasn't created by all the ghosts, I would think Shivers might have burned down the mansion by accident, probably obsessing over Melody, and all these ghosts were family. In my head canon, that's what it'd be. All these ghosts were family. Shivers was obsessed with Melody. She probably rejected him. He probably dropped his candlestick and lit the whole mansion on fire, and everybody died in it. I'm getting dark, and none of these ghosts are related outside of the family that we already mentioned. But in my head canon, that's what it would be. So he can't have his darling Melody die again before he has a chance to win her heart, so he has to go put this fire out. Once he sits down on his toilet to extinguish the flames, his heart is exposed, and that's your chance to strike. If you miss this chance, you have to reignite his candlesticks all over again, otherwise he will go all the way back to that hallway, then you gotta do it all over again. Once you absorb him in one go, or however long it takes you, capture that boo as we talked about earlier, so you don't have to backtrack later. Again, I'm telling you that now because the game's not going to tell you to use your Game Boy Horror to check that mouse hole. But yeah, Shivers, that was pretty interesting, and we got his opinion on, we got a personality off of him as well. Again, this is how fleshed out these ghosts are. You don't get a lot from them, but you get enough for them to like get a personality for them. And wouldn't you know whose key he's holding? He's holding the key to Piano Ghost, Melody to Melody Pianissima's room. These are some weird names. But that's why my headcanon works, because he had the key to Melody's room, which means he locked her in that room. Even though she's a ghost, so they can just fly out, they can get out of the room. But maybe when she was human, he had the key to her room. So that's why my headcanon works, that he burned down the mansion and killed all these ghosts. Anyways, once we capture the butler, you can go after his sweetheart Melody, as he was the one guarding her key. Or maybe he locked her in her room like some Beauty and the Beast situation. See, I was ahead of my notes. Some Beauty and the Beast situation. He was like, I can't have you. Okay, you ain't leaving this room.
Down for dinner.
I'm not hungry.
You'll come out or I'll break down the door.
Master, I could be wrong, but that may not be the best way to win the girl's affections.
Please, attempt to be a gentleman.
But she is being so difficult.
Gently, gently.
Will you come down to dinner?
No.
Suave.
Genteel.
It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner. Please.
No, thank you.
You can't stay in there forever.
Yes, I can.
Fine. Then go ahead and starve! If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all.
Anyways, to get Melody to appear is a great Easter egg. Get all the musical instruments at once to play, and they will do a Mario Brothers theme song. I thought this was a really cute Easter egg because, again, when this game first came out in 2001, 2002. Well, 2001, I had played it in 2002. I was like, oh, I know this. Everybody knows the Mario Brothers theme song.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This draws her out to play along with her own piano and join in. So at first you think she's going to be like a non-combative ghost. We give her music a compliment before we engage her in battle. Once she finishes playing, she asks you, what did the author feel about her piece? And I don't know if you can give a right answer here. She asks about, like, do you think she's thinking about the sky or the sea? As far as I know, she'll say you're wrong either way, and you have to leave the room and then come back in here and like restart the music anyway. But if there's a right answer, let me know in the comments below. But as far as I know, I gave the wrong answer. And she didn't ask that same question again. This time when you activate the Mario Brothers theme song, she'll play a different song and this time ask you a similar question but related prior to a Mario Brothers game. Like, what song was that from? And I got this one right even though I guessed it. It's the last one. And immediately she began her battle with me. Before you can absorb her, you must suck up all her flying musical sheets. They'll fly at you. They don't really do a lot of damage, and they're kind of just flying everywhere. But you have to suck up her music sheets first, and then once they're gone, she will go to town in her. So once you absorb her musical sheets, she just goes to town on her piano like Beethoven. She's like going crazy, and that's when her heart's exposed, and you have a chance to take her down. I caught her in one go, but I did love that. I was like, oh, she's a non-combative ghost, but in the moment you absorb her musical sheets, she's going to town like Beethoven, just going crazy. Yeah, that was awesome. After that, we fight the glutton ghost, Mr. Lugs. Now, you might have heard this ghost eating while you've been in the hallway, passing back and forth between his room. You can actually tell how this guy died. You can hear it before you ever enter his room. The sound of someone eating and smacking loudly. This is an obese ghost who, even in death, is still eating himself in his weight and demanding more food. I mean, like, you see frantically these butlers trying to carry trays of food, daring not to drop a morsel of food. Like, you can see they're sweating, and he's just like... I sounded just like him right there. But yeah, then he finishes his food and he's waiting on more food. So you think the obvious thing is to absorb all the food off his plate, but then you got the butler still coming. So me and my brother like to call him the uncle who ate all the food, but then maybe got hungry and ate his butlers before he died from a heart attack. Again, this is our dark headcanon, but because he's a glutton ghost, you know, they're clearly, you know, well, and death ain't gonna run out of food, but like clearly these butlers were so afraid to drop these food, like they probably ran out of food at some point because they're like, oh, we're running low on food, and he's like, run out of food, and he just probably ate them, and he died of a heart attack. That's my headcanon. In order to see him, though, you must first light up all the candles in the room with fire. There is a fire spirit in this room, so that makes it more easy for you. Although I think the fire emblem room is in the same hallway, so it's not that too far away if you can't see it. Now, the obvious plan is to absorb all the food from his plate. That would expose his heart, but you have to remember that there's two butler spirits there to replenish his food once it's gone. So first you take out the butler spirits, and then you absorb his fat ass plate. I put that in my notes. He'll be briefly shot before shooting fireballs at you. He is one of the few portrait ghosts that have powers. All of the portrait ghosts have some kind of ability, but like obvious powers. I dodged him for a while, and it seemed like he wasn't going to run out of fireball spirits. So I guess you have to be like a little bit close to him, or at least keep him in frame for him to get exhausted. But anyways, keep doing that until he's exhausted and his heart is exposed. After that, you can begin to absorb him. One funny thing I wish they had done with him, this is my first change I was putting in Luigi's Mansion, is when his health reaches 0 and the Poltergeist 3000 tries to absorb him, I would have added a short funny scene of the Poltergeist struggling to absorb him, like his face just kind of sticks out of his gut, and then it comically absorbs him, but like at first, you know, it's like his stomach's like, you know, in the cartoons where they're like trying to squeeze inside a little tight hole or something like that. I was like, missed opportunity. That would have been a great funny gag for kids. Like, I would have made me laugh my ass off as a kid. But I think in my headcanon that happened, because I expected it to happen in the game. It does not. Just past this room, we obtained the water element. This is where we'll encounter our first ice ghost. You will need fire to initially burn his heart to expose it, or you can burn him to death. Because again, when it comes to these ice, fire, and water spirit ghosts, if you hit them with the element once, it exposes their heart, or you can just hit them with that element the whole time and then they'll pass away. Up to you how you want to do that. Once he's defeated, the water element is revealed, and then you can absorb the water spirit from the sink. The water element is heavily used in this game because there's a lot of plants all throughout the mansion. So EGAD's going to tell you, like, water the plants around the mansion, like they need some water. It gives you gems, coins, and sometimes money, as well as you're going to use it to extinguish the fire on the door leading to like the doghouse, or I want to call it the backyard too, but I don't think it's called the backyard because the backyard's a different area. But it's like a different version of the backyard. I think it's like, it's kind of like the dog's area. The dog area is spooky, as well as access to our second boss fight. But yeah, the water element, you're gonna use it a lot. The fire element, I guess you use all of them. Ice is really the only one I didn't really feel like I used a lot. Used it in one particular area and one boss fight. But yeah, you don't. Maybe it would have worked on the boos. Could you freeze a boo to keep them from escaping? That's an interesting thought. I never thought about that. If I ever do this game again, I'm gonna try to freeze a boo. Because I was gonna say, the ice element wasn't used too much. Like, fire's used to light the candles, water's used to water the plants and put out the fire ghost. And then the ice element's used to freeze the water ghost hearts, but like it wasn't used as much in my opinion. Anyways, moving on. It's time to capture the next portrait ghost, the dog Spooky. This one as a kid threw me off because I had no idea what to do. I mean, I literally was like walking around trying to suck up the ghost, taking a picture of the dog's heart. I did not know how to capture the dog ghost. To capture the doggy spirit, you have to run to the first corner of the area next to this plant to awaken Mr. Bones. A ghost spirit, as I talked about, that's kind of like the human version of Dry Bones Koopa. When he's first absorbed, he will leave behind a bone, which will distract the dog long enough to expose his heart. If you don't capture Mr. Bones first, the dog is just going to keep biting your leg and you got to shake him off. It's a hilarious scene, but that's pretty much it. Once the dog is gone, though, you can see beyond him is a cemetery where we will now face our second mid-game boss fight. Now, again, this is the part of the game where I was confused how to get over there. You have to take a picture of the doghouse, and then it's going to suck you up and bring you on the other side. So maybe this is where you would have probably got the idea to go back to the butler's room, but again, the game does not always tell you that there's a secret room. Maybe we're supposed to pull out Game Boy Horror in every room. Maybe there was like a secret room in all the rooms at Luigi's Mansion. Maybe that's why I got D rank. There was other secret holes or something like that. I don't know. But before you fight him, water the plant in the corner. It will briefly grow. That's because it has to be watered 3 different times. The game, once again, will not tell you this. This plant has a lot of money and a lot of jewels. You have to water it the first time before you fight Bogmire, the second time after you defeat Bogmire, and the third time after you fight the third boss ghost, which we'll talk about when we get there. If you do not do it in this order, the plant will wither away and die, and you lose access to all that money. That might be another reason why I didn't reach a higher rank. But yeah, I'm telling you this now because the game will not tell you that. There's a lot of stuff the game will not tell you. Maybe if we had a game guide back then. I think Tristan had a game guide. That's why he beat the game so easy. I did not have a game guide. Okay, back then there was like IGN.com, cheatcodes.com, CC cheat codes, but like it didn't have game guides on there. Okay, we had to figure it out. Let's try it. It's time for the second fight, boss fight, Boogeyman Bogmire. I like to call him Boogeyman because he seems like the most non-human portrait ghost that there is so far. Well, the dog's not human, but at least I believe that the dog could be a spirit. But to awaken Bogmire, we first have to get rid of all the Mr. Bones guarding him. And honestly, the fact that there is even a graveyard outside of this mansion would be enough to explain all the paranormal activity happening without the booze. Like, the fact that there's a cemetery right outside your house would be enough to explain all this ghost activity. But I digress. Once you get rid of all the Mr. Bones, head to the main grave tombstone where it'll be struck by lightning several times before a definite non-human ghost rises from its grave. Check out this scene. Bogmire's power is like the guy from One Piece thriller Bart Gecko Moria. Bogmire uses his shadows to fight on his behalf because his true body is very weak. In fact, Bogmire is afraid of you and the Portuguese 2000, so Bogmire is going to stay far as hell away from you as he can. So, lucky for you, his shadows aren't much of a threat so long as you suck up the big ones and ignore the small ones. The big ones, I think you can absorb multiple at one time, but focus on the big ones because the big ones take up a lot of space while the small ones are kind of slow. Once you have enough of his shadow ectoplasm, shoot that onto him and shoot it on the original Bogmire to hold him in place, and it's just long enough to expose his heart and try to suck him up. But be warned, the shadow doppelgangers, those slow are still out and about, and they will try to stop you. I think you have to take him out like in 2 or 3 phases. I mean, he's not a 1-phase ghost, I assure you. If you did catch him in 1 phase, that'd be surprising, but I think it's like 2 phases minimum, but I think it's really 3 phases. I think this is the start of like longer phase fights. Once he's taken down though, it's time to return back to the lab again and put these ghosts back into their portraits, so we'll play that scene. Now, once Bogmire is turn into a portrait, return back to the area to water the plant a second time outside of the doggy's doghouse, because again, if you don't water this plant a second time and you don't water the plant now, you cannot come back after the third boss fight to do it. I've already withered away and died. Trust me, I found this out my playthrough. Also, once again, now the dark main hallway should be like lit up now, so Luigi no longer is afraid to fearfully open the door or walk through scaredly. He'll just move on, proudly whistling happily with himself with glee. There's nothing to fear. So the hallway should be clear now, lit up. Luigi, you'll see his attitude has changed. He's all confident now. And that's what I love about that. It goes from Luigi being scared to Luigi being brave when a room is lit up. You get to see that transition. And now we have access to the backyard. But there's 2 additional things to address here. One, getting rid of all the ceiling ghosts and will light up this area. I did not know that until this playthrough because I was like, I had cleared a lot of the mansion before I reached the final boss, and I was like, this backyard is still filled with ghosts. Why is that happening? I learned you have to clear all the ceiling ghosts, and it gives you, I think it gives you access to one of Mario's. No, I think it's a lot of money, yeah, because you get Mario's letter in the bird box. So Mario's letter's in the bird box. That's one of the 2 things you find here. And you can take that back to Madame Clairvoyant or not. And also Mario's hat or shoe. I think one of them is in the washroom where you fight the butler. So you already have access to 2 of Mario's items already here. So go ahead and take care of all those ceiling ghosts here if you can. But also, oh no, there's 3 things. I forgot the 3rd thing. The most important thing ever. And really cool scene happens here. We go down this plank into a well, and we get to find out exactly what happened to Mario. Watch this scene. This was epic. That's right. Mario has not only been taken hostage by King Boo, but he was trapped in a painting of his own. I was like mind blown when I saw this as a kid. I was like, whoa, that is so cool. That is so creative. But unlike the other portrait ghosts, Mario's not a still image. He's awake and aware, but he's unable to break himself out. He's like Luigi, get me out of here, or just get me out. You can't hear him. But King Boo's not aware that you can see them. No matter what you do, no matter what noise you make, King Boo doesn't turn around. If King Boo turned around, that'd be some scary shit. All the while, Luigi is helplessly reaching out for his brother without exposing his hiding space. This is quite shocking, but a great reveal as a kid. Like, me and my brother were like, whoa, that's crazy. We have to save Mario, for sure. Also, before leaving the backyard, you can find, oh yeah, this is where I mentioned Mario's in the bird box. And you can take it back to Madame Claire or hold on to it. But now that we know where Mario is and that King Boo's holding him hostage, we have to definitely capture all these Boos. We cannot let all these Boos escape. We cannot let King Boo stay in power. We have to defeat all these ghosts. We have to save our brother, otherwise he's going to be stuck in that painting. And because, again, if you've been reading Professor Egad's notes or words, edit dialogue he's been saying, you know that you can reverse that. The portrification eyes can be used in reverse to set Ghost free, which means we can set Mario free. All we have to do is save him and get his painting back. Now, this one is the most hilarious ghost that we're going to face yet, because I called him Jim Bro. It's going to face Jim Bro Ghost Biff Atlas. We all know that one guy that never leaves the gym, but did you ever hear about that guy who died in the gym because he never stopped working out? That's Biff. Biff died working out, and he ain't done working out. You can hear him groaning, doing, I think, what's that called? Deadlifts. He's doing deadlifts. How ironic. Yeah, he's doing deadlifts. And he's still in the gym getting his reps even after he's dead. It's every day for him, bro. It's every day, bro. I ain't gonna clip in that Logan Paul thing. I ain't trying to get demonetized or hit by a copyright strike. Well, in order to catch him, we have to purposely pick a fight with him, this docile ghost. Biff does tell you, if you read his heart, he's like, oh, you want to fight? You want to take me on? But he's not going to fight you until you pick a fight with him first. In order to capture him, you have to knock him down with the punching bag that's near him, and he will come at us swinging, like literally swinging. Like, you ever seen those girls when they fight as a kid, like with their arms swinging? He's coming at you like that. You have to hit him with the same punching bag or a punching bag 2 or 3 times to knock him over. And I believe then his heart is exposed. It might be 2 times, but I think it was 3 times I had to knock him over. But once you do that, Biff is all yours. But I love that. I don't know what me and my brother called him. I think we called him the older brother. Because I called Fat Ass the uncle. I mean, they can all be relatives. He could be a cousin or whatever. But yeah. That one was a great ghost. I love how creative that one is. And you can see how creative Nintendo is with their characters in the original Luigi's Mansion compared to the later games. Post this, we get to the last element and final one, the ice element. which can be obtained just past this room. This room also introduces a switch mechanic, which isn't really used much in this game. It's used to like flip onto the ceiling and flip back to the floor. I want to say it's probably used once or twice in the entire game. But outside of this, I didn't really find a lot of use for the switch mechanic. If it's used again somewhere else, or there's a Easter egg that I don't know about, or hidden room, let me know in the comments below. But I didn't find much use for the switch mechanic. But let's up on the ceiling and then back down to access the chest. And inside of it, we obtain the ice metal. Attaining the ice metal allows us now to absorb ice spirits, which are good against water ghosts and freezing certain areas. And one particular ghost, which hilariously makes me laugh. Oh yeah, the ice element is used to capture a portrait ghost, as well as a boss ghost. And again, it might be useful for boos. Let me know in the comments below if you tried it on a boo and it worked. But we're about to use the ice ghost. We're about to use the ice element for the first time, and this is hilarious. The showering ghost, Miss Petunia. She's a non-combative ghost who just wants to enjoy a nice hot shower. And girl, I don't blame you. You a ghost that don't have to pay bills, living in a mansion that's made from spirits and ghost energy. Use that hot water, girl. You ain't got no water bill. You ain't got no what's that called? Not heater bill. God. Whatever. She ain't got to pay for no bills. So I bet the heat never runs out. And if the heat never ran out, I'll take a hot shower all day too. And no, you're nasty. You can't see anything. So don't be thinking you're going to see something. But anyways, the way to expose her heart is to give her a nice cross-country style ice bath. And cross-country, we used to have to sit in ice to like, after running a long time, to like not numb our legs, but like heal our legs. I hated ice baths. But anyways, you gotta freeze her water and ruin her day, and that's gonna expose her heart. I always thought this one was funny because she's like not bothering nobody. She's just taking a hot shower. That's all it goes to. Like, she's one of the few ghosts that ain't bothering nobody. I was just like, that was just so funny to me. Next up, we got the prankster ghost Nana. You ever heard of Cool Grandma? That's this ghost. You don't get much of it from her reading her heart, but if you read the bookshelves on the book, if you read the books on the bookshelf, she talks about how she played a prank on Miss Petunia with an ice bath by freezing the water, which got her briefly upset until the hot water returned and Miss Petunia was happy again. You can capture Miss Petunia or the Nana in any order, and you capture the Nana first. That's where you can find that out about how to capture the Miss Petunia. But again, a smart kid's gonna figure that out pretty fast. You can find Nana knitting in her chair, but you can't interact with her until you knock over her knitting balls. Once you knock over her knitting balls, it's on like Donkey Kong, okay? She will activate her gliding rocket chair and try to run you over while shooting eye beams at you. Like, you know that grandma when grandma gives you that stare and she feels like shooting beams at you? Yeah, that's what she's doing. So we called her grandma in our original playthrough. Or the other grandma, because I called them the grandparents, the whirlings. I think it'd be aunt and uncle, I guess, and this would be grandma. Anyways, all of which can be easily dodged. However, her heart is only exposed after you hit her 3 times with her knitting balls, and then you expose her heart. So even if you flash a light on her, until you hit her with her knitting balls 3 times, her heart's not going to be exposed. This is where the game makes you use the C-stick a lot more to like control your aim and then fire, or by releasing R. And so that was pretty cool. Now, before you face the twins, you can backtrack a little bit to find Mario Star to get to get Mario Star, which is one of his missing items. So by now you should have 3 of Mario's missing items. You have to backtrack to get some fire element unless you've already got it, and then enter the astral projection room. Looking into the telescope reveals a moon and then a hidden extra room to which you have to capture a star and then fire it at the moon to make it explode. I know, it's ghosts. Just go with it. We're in a haunted mansion, okay? You can shoot the star. You can shoot a star at the moon to make it explode. And then once you explode the moon, it creates a path to the Mario Star, and you can either hold on to it or take it back to Madame Claire to get a 3rd piece of dialogue. Really, the last 2 pieces of dialogue that Madame Claire has is really gonna explain things, but again, I brought it back to her every time just because I wanted to do based off the story, like how the game developers probably wanted you to play. And plus, you got to pass her to get back to the twins' room anyway. So now we head back to Area 1 to face the twins. Now, if you read Mom and Dad's journal, Neville and Lydia's journal, in Neville's room, you already know that the twins what really grinds the twins' gears is playing with a toy airplane. So to lure these little badass twins out, to lure these badass twins out of hiding, we have to mess with their toy airplane by spinning it with our vacuum. Again, this is where the C-stick comes in and moving it around. Now, before we even start the fight, they say they want to play a game of hide and seek. So, of course, it comes off like they're non-combative ghosts, too. And I was like, okay. And they're not boss ghosts. These are just normal portrait ghosts. So we leave the room and we come back, and they said they're ready. I mean, it should be easy enough to find them, right? They're just in one room that has not many places to hide. And even if they're ghosts, I'm like, it ain't like they're going to hide all across the mansion. And what do you know? When you come back into the room, there's boxes that appear. I will tell you this now, nothing in this room will tell you which box either twin is in. Even if you get it right at random, it's not going to give you a hint that the other twin is across from them. There are probably, though, 4 ways to find them, and I only know of one. Thinking back to how Lydia's mom wrote about how they hate the 4 elements, I'm assuming fire, water, and ice can be used on the boxes to lure them out. I didn't try that. I don't know if this guy in this playthrough does that, but I know that she said wind works, and wind is what we're going to get from the poltergeist. So to lure them out of hiding, basically you vacuum over all the boxes. If a box starts shaking, that means one of the twins is in them. And as a kid, I did not figure this out until like way later because I kept getting confused. I kept trying to guess. And if you get it wrong, if you find one twin but don't find the other one, or if you even get one wrong, they'll say that you lost and you have to leave the room and try it all over again. So yeah, using the elements, probably fire, water, and ice will help. Again, because you only use one element at a time. I'm assuming the game is saying like any of these elements can help lure out these ghosts because they'll be affected by it. But the moment you beat them at hide and seek, they'll accuse you of being a cheater and want to fight. The good news is they're weaker than their baby sister Chauncey. So even though like these are twins and there's 2 of them and you're fighting them, they're basically weaker than their sister. And their baby sister was a boss. The bad news is there are 2 of them, one of who's in a car and will try to run you over your feet, and the other one is a plane trying to drop bombs on you from above. The good news is they're still incredibly weak. So the first thing you have to do is absorb their either toy car or absorb the plane and then suck them up. I recommend getting the one on the floor first because the one on the plane, it's easy to dodge those bombs. Whereas the one on the floor, if he's driving all over the floor, he might hit you and you're going to lose control. You're going to lose access. You're going to lose your hold of the one on the plane. If you want to get a gold frame for them, go for the one in the car first. And then beating them gives you access to Mario's heart, leaving one final item behind to find. So again, you can take this back to Madame Clairvoyance now, or you can hold it to the end of we find the last item. Again, I basically did it here. I think if you bring this one to her now, she tells you about Bulasis. Like she tells you like there's a giant boo somewhere in this mansion and you have to watch out for him, which is going to be our 3rd boss ghost is Bulasis. So that's why I say I like to go back and get hints as I think the game developers intended, but it's up to you. And also you can now face the next portrait ghost, the Billard Ghost Slim Bank Shot. I think you had a choice between going after the twins or going after the Billard Ghost because they don't have a key to each other's room. But it's up to you. This is just the order I did them in. I don't know how this person did it in the gameplay, but this is how I did it. But he's another non-threatening portrait ghost, non-combative. The Slim Bank Shot will not start a fight with you. He won't even try to attack you. He just wants to continue dying as he lived, playing endless billiards by himself. But alas, he must go back into his portrait too. Just like Miss Petunia, he wasn't causing no harm. Nana wasn't causing no harm. I mean, Neville wasn't causing no harm. Neither was Claudia. I mean, neither was Lydia. But still, y'all gotta go back to your portraits. So we have to hit him 3 times with a billiard ball before he exposes his heart. Just like Nana, you have to hit him 3 times with one of his items. But he's not going out easily. He will run his heart out just to get away from you. Once you start sucking him up, he's gonna break. He's gonna run like he's Usain Bolt. Like he's the first ghost to be like actively trying to run away from you. I really thought that was really creative for him. But don't fret. If you get him down by 60% in one go, you basically can get a gold frame for him too. I think I did as well. Clearing this room gives you access to the projector room, and this is where you'll face the invisible choking ghost again. But I think the first one was mirrors. This one is like the projector. But after you do that, you'll obtain Mario's glove, which is the 5th and final item needed to capture Madame Clairvoyance, as well as her finding the last bit of information that she needs. So once we do that, we head back to Madame Clairvoyant to capture her once and for all. Now, if you're doing everything right, you should have all 5 of Mario's items by now. The glove, the hat, the star, the letter, the shoe. The only one you could probably be missing is the letter and the hat if you didn't check the washroom for his hat and if you didn't check the letterbox in his backyard for his letter. Take this to Madame Clairvoyant and she will read all the messages from the spirits, or one final message if you've been going back and forth. Her final 2 messages is one about Colossus, which I already talked about, but the very last message is about Bowser. That's right, she claims she sees Bowser somewhere in this mansion. But if that's true, where is he hiding? Because we already saw inside of King Boo's room, in King Boo's throne room, that he has Mario in a painting, but Bowser wasn't in there. So if Bowser is somewhere in this mansion, it means one of 2 things. Either Bowser's in one of the last rooms in the mansion, or Bowser has become a spirit because he died at the hands of Mario and Luigi, and now King Boo has teamed up with him and he's back for revenge. Those are the 2 theories that I had as a kid. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Well, Madame Claire can tell us no more because she's all out of power. She's ready to return to peace and return to her painting, which is opposite to how she reacts to being absorbed, because it comes out as though she's panicking. So here's my second small change I would add to this game. Instead of having her at 100% and panicking as Luigi tries to capture her, I would give her a unique portrait health of 0 and have her go calm mode. Like, you know, she talks about like how she's ready to go back to peace and she's done all she can. She's ready to put the spirits at rest and she's ready to be at rest for herself. Why give her 100% health and why have her have this panicking face trying to run away from Luigi? Give her like this like calmness and like, you know, it'd be a cool scene. Maybe she walks into a poltergeist. I don't know. Maybe she goes to EGAT herself. I don't know. I just gave her something really unique. Also, at this point, you should probably have 22 boos if you didn't find the one in the butler's room, or you should have 23 if you have found the one in the butler's room. You should have 23 boos at this point. I'm bringing it up for a reason because we're about to go face Colossus. But this is also where Professor Egad will mention something about Vincent Van Gogh, a ghost named that. If you're like me, I skipped this because I thought he was repeating the same lines he says all throughout the game, but he actually mentioned something different here. So make sure you read this dialogue if you're in the dialogue, because sometimes EGAD repeats the same message, and if you already know what he's going to say, I'm just going to skip through it, but this part, by then he said something about Van Gogh. Now just past this, you will encounter your first water ghost, which you have to freeze his heart to expose him, and then after that he'll disappear. It's just a brief fight, but just introducing the first ice ghost. You can freeze his heart and then, you know, undo it and then like stun him with the light, or you can just, you know, freeze him until he dies. But also, it's time for our most dangerous boss fight yet. The Boo radar on the Game Boy Horror is going crazy. It's going insane. And do you know why? That's because there's a ring of 15 Boos playing Ring Around the Rosie right in front of us. Now, we could just leave, mind our own business, act like we ain't see nothing. But, you know, because they ain't bothering nobody. Like, are we just trying to skip past it? You go to that door right there. But oop, they spotted us. After a creepy cutscene, they combine together into one giant Boolossus. So, the boss fight Boolossus. So this whole thing with this giant Boo is that he's made up of other Boos. But it's just as Professor Egad had warned us. The more Boos that are combined in one area, the stronger they are. And together they're too powerful for Luigi and even his Poltergeist 2000. So if Mario had faced these Boos and King Boo, Mario would have definitely been outnumbered and outpowered. He did not have the power of the Poltergeist. So first we have to pop that big balloon into 15 Boos again. At the corner of the I think it's a balcony, there's these two frozen horse statues. You have to trick the bouncing Boo trick the giant bouncing boos into getting poked by the unicorn horn and they'll pop. Then quickly freeze the boos into ice spirits, and then you can absorb them one by one. I want to say do this 2 or 3 at a time instead of doing all of them at once, because if you take too long, they're going to unfreeze themselves and then fly back into one giant boo. But, that's why it's better to get as few boos as you can at a time. It might take a long time, but that's because I think this boo is meant to have multiple phases. But and honestly, he gets faster the smaller he gets. So I do think that's what the dev's intended, because the more Bulasa shrinks, the faster he gets, and it's harder to trick him into getting poked by that unicorn horn. You have to literally get Boo to angle himself at it, basically get him to bounce at an angle. Now, this is kind of a rinse and repeat formula. The cool gimmick is the more you absorb the boos, the smaller Bulasas get, so the faster he becomes. So trying to dodge his bounces or even get him angled to get pierced by the unicorn horn as he gets smaller becomes a bit harder. Admittedly, I died 6 times in this fight. I'm not ashamed to say that. I kept dying, and it's annoying. This fight can be a long one, and the first time I think I died in Luigi's Mansion, in all of the games, this is the first time I died, period. Post his defeat, we go back to Professor Egad's lab to drop off the ghost one more time in the fortification nightmare. It does not become easier to say that word. Once back at the mansion, our boo counter should be at 38 if you didn't catch the boo in the butler's room, or if you did, it's at 39. So there's 11 boos left if you've captured all the boos so far. And much of the mansion should be brightly lit by now and have a calm air. Climb your way back to the balcony and prepare for the most intense and scariest part of Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is not a scary game, but this segment of the game is pretty intense. A blackout. Lightning has struck the mansion and knocked the entire place covered in darkness. Now, you know those scary movies when the good cop gets locked in a prison with all the prisoners that he put away in jail? Yeah, that's us. We're Luigi in a mansion and have vacuumed up all these ghosts and their friends, and now they're out for vengeance. Every step unleashes a swarm of ghosts, and all you can do is stun and run. Do not bother trying to suck up these ghosts. They're going to keep showing up one after another. Seriously, just run. Run as fast as you can back towards the entrance of the mansion. Because in the basement is a generator. Once split back on, all the lights that you've already turned on will come back on and make all these ghosts disappear. But Egad warns you that though that's a great idea, this might be the one best chance to catch a unique portrait ghost that only appears in the darkest of rooms, and he loves mirrors. Now, even as a kid, this was vague as fuck. I had no idea what the fuck Egad was talking about. There is no mirror room that we've been in so far, and most of the rooms have mirrors, but I will tell you now, it's basically that first area in the last room. It's not a mirror room, but it's the first time you see a mirror, it's the first time you see a mirror, because there are mirrors throughout Luigi's Mansion. But he talked about a mirror room, and I'm like, there's no mirror room. So I thought that was weird. But anyways, once you head back to that first area, last room, you'll fight Uncle Grimble. You can find him just floating there before a mirror. His capture is pretty simple. Turn your back to him and wait for him to try to scare you. When he raises his arms, his heart is exposed. He's another docile ghost who doesn't have any way of fighting back, and he's not really like a combative ghost. The only thing he'll do is drop those purple mushrooms to try to shrink you and do damage. But other than that, he's not a combative ghost. Once he's captured, take a picture of the mirror, and it'll transport you immediately back to the main entrance. This is the closest way to get back to the basement if you're speed running and just ignore all the ghosts in the hallway, or having to go back to those other 3 rooms, because I got hit by them ghosts, especially the purple punchers trying to dodge them. And I just do that all the way until you get down to the basement. Once you're in the basement, power it back on, and all the rooms that you lit up already will regain power. Now this is about where you will require some. This will require some exploration of your own. You can go all the way back up to the balcony where the blackout happened and enter a room with telephones and do some boo hunting and get more keys. Here's also the first time where you encounter boos with health over 200 and 300. So this is the first time that boos are going to be like, if you've been struggling with boos with 100 health and they're escaping, you're going to have some serious trouble because now these boos have 200 and 300 health. And they're the most annoying ones to chase down because of their fleeing mechanic. And if you don't follow them immediately, as I said, you're going to forget what adjoining rooms they went in, and you're going to have to search the mansion all over every time. That's why it's better to chase these boos after you found one by one and hunt them down, because it's annoying. Because when you're down to the last wire and you want to get that gold diamond, you're going to stay on these boos because you don't want to forget what room they went in, and you don't have to backtrack everywhere. Now, one cool Easter egg is you can encounter in the basement of them. One cool Easter egg you can encounter in the basement area of the mansion is meeting King Boo a second time before the boss fight. You can meet King Boo early again, face to face, but you can't fight him. He will first mistake you for Mario, believing that you've escaped before realizing you're Luigi. This is all before he and the other Boos use their Boo breath to blast you all the way back towards the entrance. It's a clever way to keep Luigi from reaching Boo's room and saving Mario early, like just getting Mario's portrait, getting him out of there, or maybe even teaming up with Mario and going back in the mansion and clearing all the ghosts out. But it's also a great mid-game story it's a great mid-game story plot and a great story device. Like again, so Luigi can't just save his brother and leave the mansion. Plus, it inspired a scene in my book, Enter the Dread Zone Tournament, when Seto makes his epic return. If you read my book, Enter the Dread Zone Tournament, you know that there's a scene where like the Halo Masters go to enter the Major League Tournament, and Seto's blocking their path, and he's like, "Oh, y'all were here too early," and he blasts them all backwards. It's a homage to that scene. Now, since we're doing it in the order that I did it in, I don't know how this player did it. I'm gonna have to break up some of this video, but at this point I had faced the Clockwork Soldiers. These guys are odd to call portrait ghosts, but they are portrait ghosts. These are living toy soldiers that will require you to wake them up before you can expose their heart. So like with Melody, you have to play the Mario theme song triggering their music boxes. The wind-up soldiers will begin to march and slowly begin their attack. They aren't strong or unavoidable necessarily, but like they are hard to dodge only because there's 3 of them. When trying to capture one of them, the other 2 will corner you in an area and most likely attack you with their like long trumpet horn attacks. Like a Shy Guy, you must first absorb their wind-up knobs, and then you can expose their hearts. Again, take them down one by one. You can capture 2 at a time or 3 at a time. If you can line them all up and suck up all their wind-up knobs. But again, it's just annoying because there's 3 of them, and so if you're trying to capture one, the other 2 might attack you. From here on, we get access to the room of we get access to like another room of the mansion. If you remember this like one spot earlier in the game, it's like boarded up and you can't enter this room. This area allows you to go up to the roof of the mansion, not the balcony, the basic roof, and oh, sorry. I'm getting cotton mouth because I'm talking so much. and it'll allow you to get a brief look at where the final boss fight is going to take place. Like, this game is great of using every detail in every room of the mansion and using it multiple times. On the roof, you get access to to 2 different keys. One is a key that's going to be used to access the room later. The other is a secret room that's boarded up in one of the hallways. There's a Boo in here as well as a lot of treasure, and we meet a variant of the ice ghost that must first be burned by fire. So I don't know if we had faced an ice ghost yet, but if not, this is the first time you're going to face an ice ghost, and you need to use fire. You need to burn his heart with fire to expose it. Now, again, as I said, the game at this point is up to you where you choose where to go. You're gonna have to capture all 3 of these ghosts next, but it's up to you in the order you do them. So the ghost that I chose to fight next was the Bedwetter Supi. This is another hilarious ghost. For the Bedwetter, we need the power of fire and water, which both thankfully are in the same room. Use fire to ignite the candles, and the fire ghost will appear. Quickly switch to the water spirit and extinguish the flame on the fire ghost, or just use it once to expose her heart. Once they're taken care of, go to the adjoining room and you will find the portrait ghost sleeping on the ceiling. No, she's not on the ceiling. We're on the ceiling. She's doing some poltergeist exorcist shit where like her bed is on the ceiling and we're on the ceiling is on the floor. So this is the first time we're seeing some actual poltergeist like activity. She warns you not to wake her up because she's trying to sleep. My first playthrough, I was a bit confused how to reach her. I tried everything. I didn't know what it was. But if you're clever enough, you'll figure out in a millisecond. You can read her heart, and she'll basically say like, "I'm not gonna wet the bed. I'm not gonna wet the bed," and that's why I thought it's pretty clever, pretty funny. You have to make her wet the bed by spraying her with water vertically until she fully wakens up. While you attempt to wake her up, her Annabelle dolls will fling themselves at you and do damage as well as try to distract you. But once she's absorbed, because she's a pretty docile ghost, she won't attack you, basically, non-combative. But once you absorb her, a chest will appear on the ceiling. To make it come down, you simply have to leave the room and then come back in. It'll shake the room and come back down to fix itself. So again, that's some real poltergeist stuff right there. Exorcist stuff right there. I love this fight along with the shower one because it made the elements feel clever and very useful, because the other element we had used was on Miss Petunia with the freezing her bath water. So it makes the elements feel like they're useful. I don't think we used fire yet. We used fire to bring out Uncle Biff, or no, not Uncle Biff. Mr. Lugs. We used fire to bring him, lure him out, but we didn't use fire to fight him. Oh, we did use ice on Bulasas too, but I just don't think we used fire yet. We will use fire though. After that is Ghost Gordon Jarvis. This is he first comes off as a friendly ghost, challenging us to a game of Whack-A-Ghost. It's like Whack-A-Mole, but you have to blast him with ice 7 times as he pops out at random gorbs all around you. He moves pretty slow, so it's hard not to hit him with ice. But if you miss even once, you lose. And you have to basically leave the room, come back, try it all over again. If you win, he tells you to admire his gourds, or so he says. Because once he actually loses, he gets upset with that. Again, I'm talking a lot today. Once he actually loses, he gets upset and says he will stuff you into one of his gourds instead. Beating him is fairly easy. Just dodge his flying gourds as they fly at you. That's basically what he does to like try to keep himself safe, and then suck him up. I think he does have a funny thing, but basically it's just his head that sticks out anyway, so not much to that. Next up in my playthrough is Ghost Ice Climber Sir Weston. Now, this ghost is frozen on ice. I mean, it has to suck. I mean, how you gonna be dead and a ghost is still frozen in death? Like, you lived your whole life, you died as an ice climber, and now you're just frozen solid. That just ain't fair. So you think you're doing him a favor by burning the ice to melt him and set him free, all the while dodging the frozen icicles that fall from the ceiling. So his gimmick is like you have to use fire to burn the ice around him. So yeah, this is where the fire element is used against a Portuguese. You use fire to burn the ice around him, and these icicles are going to fall down trying to stab you. And the ground is also ice, so you kind of slipping and sliding everywhere. And but once you free him though, he hilariously gets upset. He's like, "Who gave you the audacity to save me? I didn't ask to be saved. I hate being not cold." It was given the Incredibles, you know, when like Mr. Incredible saved that guy who was trying to commit suicide, and Mr. Incredible's like, "I saved your life." He's like, "I didn't ask you to save me."
Mr. Sanchweek didn't ask to be saved. Mr. Sanchweek didn't want to be saved. And the injury received from Mr. Incredible's actions, so-called, causes him daily pain.
Hey, I saved your life!
You didn't save my life, you ruined my death. That's what the...
Listen,
my client has no
further comment at this time.
Don't save her. She don't want to be...
Here's giving that. Here's another of the few portrait ghosts with powers. I think I'm sending an icicle barrage at you. Easy enough to dodge, despite how it looks in slippery ground. Like, it makes it look like you can't dodge it, but it's pretty easy to dodge. You have to keep melting him, though, if he escapes your hold of him. Like trying to wrangle him in with the Poltergeist 3000. But if you fail to capture him in one go, just go melt the ice again. It doesn't take that long. And just rinse and repeat until you capture him. Pretty easy, pretty fun. Now it's time for the penultimate ghost, Vincent Van Gogh. This is... There's a word. I think it's a horde fight. This is like a mini horde fight. All of the ghost types you have faced before are unleashed by his power and attack in swarms of 3. Vincent Van Gogh is a painter, and whatever he paints comes to life. I think that's what Professor Egad was trying to warn us about. And his design is kind of cool. I kind of like it. He gives like a French ghost. Once the horde is gone, though, we can finally capture Gore himself. I don't remember if he's non-combative or not, aside from the purple mushrooms. But yeah, basically it's a horde fight. So you can't leave the room. You have to take all the ghosts at once and keep coming at you. They come at hordes of 3. At first it's like gold ghosts, then purple punchers, then garbage can ghosts, ceiling ghosts, shy guy ghosts, choking ghosts, and I think that's it. But yeah, you have to take them all out. Now, if I remember this part as a kid, I died here a few times. I think I was struggling against trying to capture hit them all multiple at once. Also, at this point, you should also have 49 boos. We believe the 50th boo was King Boo. Oh yeah, this as a kid. At this point, I captured the 49th boo here. And at this point, I believe that King Boo was the 50th boo because I had checked everywhere. But if you triple check everywhere again, or if you watch YouTube, you'll know that 50th hidden boo is in the butler's room, and you'll have all 50 boo. And at that point, you'll have the gold diamond, or you'll get the gold diamond at this point. It's finally time for the king fight. But what about Madame Claire's warning? We still haven't seen we still haven't seen Bowser anywhere in the mansion, which means he has to be waiting for us in King Boo's room. Bowser has to be with King Boo. He has to be in there somewhere, right? King Boo / Bowser fight. Well, either way, it's time to face King Boo and save Bowser. King Boo has been sick of the Mario Brothers getting in the way of his plans, which, to my knowledge, this is King Boo's first appearance. But I'm assuming because he's the King of Boos, maybe the other Boos had worked for him, and Luigi and Mario had gotten his way, telling him, messing with all the other Boos that work for him, doing his bidding. Anyways, he's like, I like my Mario painting, but it looks lonely. I need the Luigi painting too. So I need a Luigi painting too to go along with it. And prepare for the most insane acid trip since the boss baby fight. Became Bowser. King Boo trapped him too. That's what I thought as a kid. But wait, there's something off about the King of Koopas. Dodge his fire breath, quickly grab a spike ball before he speed runs at you, or uses his suction breath to breathe to suck you in and eat you up. Shoot it into his mouth the moment either shoot it in his mouth when his mouth is open, or shoot it when he bows his head. And I was like, oh no, Bowser's dead. No, wait, he's not. He's an imposter. He's a machine. It's given like the Koopa Bros from Paper Mario. This is a fake Bowser. King Boo created him to mentally scar Mario and Luigi, as the King of Koopas is their mortal enemy. So obviously some Boos are pranksters, and King Boo's the king of pranks. He's like, oh, I'll scare Mario and Luigi with the image of Bowser. After all, Boos feed off of fear. And we know that Bowser is fake. So but since we know Bowser is fake, we have no need to be afraid of him. We just have to, sorry. But now that we know that King Bowser is fake, we have no reason to be afraid of him. We just have to take down King Boo and defeat him once and for all. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is also where I died. No, this is where I died 6 times. I think I lost as a kid against Colossus. And I probably lost against Colossus this playthrough as well. But this is where I died 6 times. There is no health bars here. It's just luck. And I don't think any of the boss fights give you health. Like, you just have to, like, get lucky because Bowser has a lot of tricks. While King Bowser's head is decapitated, his head will shoot ice at you, and you still have to suck up King Boo and use the C-stick to, like, basically aim at King Boo, who's floating around and has 500 health, and try to suck him up, weakening King Boo little by little. I think it takes like at least 3 to 4 phases. I think 4 phases at minimum to take down King Boo, and that's if you're lucky. If you get hit by ice, you're frozen for several seconds, and that means you can miss a lot of damage because King Boo is going to fly right back into that Bowser head and get right back into attacking. If you get caught as well by Bowser's fire breath, or absorbed by his suction, or even stomped by his jump, it can make you dizzy for a bit, allowing Bowser to get 2 hits. Like, so I know at one point, Bowser hit me with his fire breath, and then while I was stunned, or like Luigi was shaking out his hat, I got sucked up by Bowser's breath, or like Bowser does this jump, and that stuns Luigi, and then I got hit by something else. Like, you can get hit a lot of times, or at least twice if you mess up. And again, with no additional health drops, it makes us fight intense. My only other advice is don't hold the spike balls for too long. They will explode. Like, so yeah, while Bowser uses his spike balls and tosses them at you, that's what you want to suck up to shoot back at him. But if you hold them for too long, they're going to explode. And if you don't grab them fast enough, they're going to explode. So yeah, it's a really a time thing. And when Bowser jumps in the air, there's no warning where Bowser's going to land. Bowser's just going to land at some place. You better hope you're not under him. Lastly, the third time you blast off Bowser's head, he will put it back on backwards and charge you randomly in a sporadic way. This made me laugh as a kid because it's so random, but it was a nice touch. I really like that. I like that they added that in there. It definitely gave some humor to this fight. Once you defeat King Boo, you obtain his crown, and once again, we return to the lab to return all these Ghosts in the Dirt paintings one last time with one final rating and all the money you've collected so far before we get a very cute ending of this game.
Luigi. おやま、ルイージ。ゲイルンベジジ。おど、サメの竹。おっとまあ、に。おや、サメの竹。おや、おやま、へいへいうい。に、うまか、すくすく、やぼやぼ。へいへいのじびがり、うまか、うーるー。そいそう、へいへい、すー、てくるはん。おっとまあ、ぽえ、じみじみ。すくすく、しけしけ、やぼやぼ。へいへいすー、サメの竹、おいどろ。おやみ。ん
This ending is so sweet. It made me and my brother Tristan cry. It really did, and made me feel made me feel a giant smile on my heart and on my face. As Luigi, who's had to face his fears all night, fighting terrible ghosts, and was afraid of his brother losing his brother, he cries tears of joy and laughter at the sight of his brother being saved once more. He's all dizzy. They put Mario to the portrificationizer in reverse, and then Mario comes flying out. And Luigi, it's the fact how he cries, the whole scene, it's so good. Just watch.
Mamma mia. Oh, 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 oh.
The very final cutscene is a rating on how well you did collecting money all throughout the game. I thought I did the best job I could, but I still ended in D rank, which was kind of disappointing. And I'm not sure how this player fared, but we'll see how he did in the ending of this. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This game was a true treasure from my childhood. If you've never played the original Luigi's Mansion, just get you a Wii or a GameCube and play this. It's only 4 hours long. It's a very short game, but despite how short it is, you're going to have the best time of your life. It is such a great game. Anyways, guys, that's all for this video. Sorry it's a very long one, but I really want to talk about it. I was going to save it for Halloween. I was going to be my Halloween video, but I feel like for a summer game, you got 4 hours, why not play it? Anyways, I got some other videos planned for Halloween, so I'll see you guys next one. Talk later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.